Haribo. So I want to offer some meditations on. What are they doing in there?
That's the AC.
The AC?
Yeah. I think so.
It's dramatic.
It's the water.
Jai.
CDC.
Meditations on love of God. And who better to understand this topic than the embodiment of love of God, Srimati Radhika, and her description of what it means to really love. What is the real definition of love or prem? And then there's one very beautiful verse spoken by Krishna with the mood of Srimati Radhika, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared in Gautamandal about 550 years ago. And he talked about this mood of love. What does it mean to really have love for someone? The highest spiritual kind of love. Ashlishavapadratang pinastumam adarshanang maramahatam kuroti va yata tatav viradhatu lampato matprananatastu sa eva naparaha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave 8 verses to meditate upon. He said, so much has been written, so much has been spoken, so many books are there, so many books are there. What's the essence? And so he gave 8 verses. From the beginning of spiritual life to the perfection of spiritual life. And this last verse is a meditation on that perfection of spiritual life. I am yours. I know no one but you. You are my Lord, life after life. Not only am I yours, but you are mine. This is the mood of Srimati Radhika. Possessiveness, mamata, you are mine. Mamata prematadika. The more we can develop that mood of possessiveness in love for Krishna, the more we become closer to Krishna. The more our intimacy develops with Krishna. So therefore Mahaprabhu said, Ashlishava padaratang pinastumam, I have offered myself completely to you. Therefore, whether you show me affection or not, however you show yourself to me, I have love for you. And I am binding you to my heart with my love. This is the understanding of the relationship between the soul and God. The relationship between the soul and God is eternal because the soul is eternal and God is eternal. So our relationship is eternal. So therefore our love is eternal. Wherever we are seeking love, placing our love, that is seeking Krishna, seeking love. Until we find that love in relation with Krishna, we'll remain unsatisfied in this world. And when we offer our love to that Sri Krishna, who is like the tree of existence, you water the roots. Sri Krishna, offer your love, or your rati, your affection, your attraction to that Sri Krishna. And then you can have infinite capacity to love, and that love can be shared with all. But first you offer it, let it be prasad. All of our activities are becoming prasad, which means auspicious or mercy. In material life, everything we do for ourselves. Let me enjoy, let me be happy, let me accumulate and acquire. But bhakti means, let me offer my life, let me offer my love, let me offer my service. And then everything becomes auspicious, beautiful, sweet. Krishna is the abode of all sweetness, so how can we become sweet? That He wants to be with us. We are sweet, but all those layers of anarthas, anything holding us back, any limitation, then that must be removed. So therefore, Srimati Radhika gives a definition of love. And for us in our ashram, Bhakta Bandhav, our mission, this is like the pillar, this mood of Srimati Radhika. Why? Because it's a meditation on the power of real love. We see in this world, whether one believes in God or doesn't believe in God, there's so much struggle around this concept of God. Even if you go to the ancient religion, Israel means to wrestle with God. Really, the definition is to wrestle with the idea and the concept. But what is real love? And how can we truly surrender to that pure love? How can we develop trust with that? So therefore, Srimati Radhika says, love cannot be broken. All the obstacles in the path of love will be removed. Removing all of those obstacles in the path of love for God, that is liberation. Once all the obstacles holding you back from realizing your eternal relationship in love with God are removed, then that is your salvation. Therefore, liberation is defined for us, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, as Swarupena Vyavastiti, achieving your eternal relationship with Krishna in your eternal form. That is liberation. Mukti hitvanyata rupena Swarupena Vyavastiti. To be established in your eternal relationship of love, that is liberation. Therefore, Srimati Radhika says, whatever is an obstacle in the path of love, real love will remove it. It will go through it. It will crush it. So Radharani says love is like a lion. Why? One time Krishna was speaking with Srimati Radhika. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives this beautiful explanation of his book Prem Samput. And Krishna was saying, why do you love me? I do so many things, so many naughty things. And yet you still love me. I'm so restless, yet you still love me. Why is it? Why don't you give up? He said, Vrindavan is so beautiful. Everything is so nice. There's so many nice people. But why do you have love for me? And he was saying it in disguise. Why do you have love for him? He was dressed as a heavenly damsel, a dancer. And he came in disguise. And he said, oh Radha, why do you love that Krishna? What's so special about him that despite everything in life, you still love him? We can understand Radharani giving us a meditation on love. That in this world we're traveling throughout existence, life after life. Why should we love God? What's the reason to love God? And all these things are happening in life. Should we still love God? Or, oh, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Should we still love God? Because that is our nature. Jaiva dharma, our nature as living, as souls, is to love God. So how can we not love God? Like I explained last night, when the fire is there, does the fire have light and heat? Where there is fire, there is light and heat. Where is the soul and God, there is love. That's our nature. Our nature is to love God and to serve God and to have a relationship with God. That is our nature. So all those things that are covering that nature, it's called an acquired nature. Naimatika swabhav. All those things, as they are being removed by the power of love, then our relationship with Sri Krishna is realized. That is an eternal relationship. Why? Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadda Kabunai. Love for God is eternal. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadda Kabunai. Love for God isn't something that is born. Right? Because Radharani says love can never be broken. That means, when did love come into being? When was the birth of love? Did love start at a certain point? No. The soul is eternal, God is eternal, love for God is eternal. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem. Sadhya Kabunai, it's never something that you can by force acquire because you already have it. So how can you acquire something that you already possess? Like, I'm gonna make a body. Well, you have a body. The soul has nature, qualities, form, everything waiting to be realized. So it's not something you acquire, it's something you realize. Right? You wake up, not you're born. It's like you're sleeping, then you wake up. What's the difference between sleeping and waking up? You still exist either way. But we're being born. It's the spiritual birth. Janma dasya yataha is the first aphorism of the Vedanta Sutra, the essence of all Vedic knowledge, and the Srimad Bhagavatam, the summary, the ripened fruit of all Vedic knowledge. Janma dasya yataha, spiritual birth. How do we achieve spiritual birth? Rasa. What is the highest rasa? The highest relationship, Adi Rasa, is Madhura Rasa. The highest original relationship is the relationship of sweetness, of love for Krishna. As the Brajabasis, as Madhya Yashoda, mother and father, as the cowherd boys. But in the highest form, as the Brajagopis, Srimati Radhika, as all her associates. Therefore, the Gaudiya Vaishnav's highest aspiration is to serve under the guidance of Srimati Radhika, to serve Srimati Radhika and with love to serve Sri Krishna in that loving relationship. Therefore, love is eternal. As the soul is eternal, as God is eternal, love for God is eternal. So whatever is an obstacle in that path of love, therefore what does Bhagavatam say? Second verse. First it says, Janma dasya yataha, birth, spiritual birth, from which comes everything, God, creation, maintenance, destruction. That's all related to this world. Tejo vari mritam. This is the first verse of Bhagavatam. All the things we see in this world are illusory. Why? Because it's half of reality and it's distorted by our misconceptions. It said illusion means you see fire on water, like you see the sunrise and it looks like fire. Or you see a mirage of water on earth. Or you see a reflection of earth and water. It's distorted reality, mistaken perception. So therefore, Janma dasya yataha is in reference to this world, but it's an invocation to come to a higher world. Why? Satyam param dhimahi. Meditate upon what is absolute, not what is temporary. This body is temporary. This earth even, everything is in flux, rising and falling like waves in the ocean of material existence. But Satyam Param Dhimahi, let's meditate upon the absolute which is eternal. And realize that that absolute is also, the Atma is also eternal, Satchidananda, but Vibhinangsa Tattva, part and parcel of the absolute truth. Therefore its nature as part and parcel of the absolute truth is relationship and love for the absolute truth. Sri Krishna. That is our nature. If you were to say, what is my nature? What is your nature? Love for God. That is our inherent, intrinsic nature. Now you can define that different ways. It's called rati, attraction. If you look at an iron filing, it's attracted to a magnet. That's called love. You cannot separate, you cannot change its nature. But what can happen with an iron filing? It can become rusty, and then when it's near the magnet, it's no longer attracted. So why do we perform the practice? Why do we chant the name? Why do we honor the foodstuffs? Why do we do the pilgrimage? Why do we sing the song? Why do we dance? Removing the rust. The acquired nature, the illusory nature, like a shedding of skin. Removing of all the obstacles, realizing the pure nature of the self. So that's why we do the chant, that's why we do the dance, the process, to realize our truest essential nature as an eternal beloved of God. The soul, it said there's three eternal truths. Bhakti, Bhakta, Bhagavan. All the sastras describe three eternal truths. Devotion, the devotee, and the object of one's devotion. Love, or you could say to adore. What do we say is our process of worship? We perform some kind of ritualistic worship? No. Some ceremonies performed, but it's like an expression of our love, means to adore. That is bhakti, to adore. Isn't it a beautiful word? Not worship. To adore something. To have love for something. This is called madhura rasa. Soft, sweet, fragrant, beautiful. So the original mellow of love and relationship is madhura rasa, the love of sweetness between Radha and Krishna, the gopis, and we're being invited. Spiritual life is not an obligation. Religious life, dogma, must do this, should do this, shouldn't do this, do not, thou shalt not. But what should we do? Right? Learn, don't hurt people. Yes, very important. Be a good person, very important. Live virtuously, morally. But what should we do? What is our higher calling? What is our highest morality? Our highest virtue is that love. So Radharani says, "Oh Krishna, how can I not love you? No matter what you do, there's nothing that could stop me loving Krishna. Because that's my nature. How can you stop the river from flowing towards the ocean? How can you stop the flame from rising towards the sun? It's its nature. So the nature of the soul is love for God. And everything that is standing in our way, all obstacles, as they are removed, this is our sojourn in material life. Samsara, Brahmanda, Brahmitekon. So how can we achieve that grace? Wandering throughout existence, life after life. Finally, by that sincere calling in our heart, as I said, Janmashtami night, When that call comes from within your heart, why? Krishna is always calling. Paramatma, the super soul within our body, supreme soul and our soul, God and ourself, our heart, within our heart, God resides and we reside. He's always calling, but we're turning aside. I can't hear you. I'm hearing all these material things. I'm going to make a house and get a car and work hard and make a family and all these things. Yes, but why neglect your relationship with God? God says, yes, have a family, have a car, have a house, whatever you like, take it. Yudhisthira Maharaj, a great king. Krishna said, take whatever you want from me. He said, give me a great kingdom and opulence. Oh, you want that? Yes, so that people will see my devotee, your devotees also have everything. Why? Yudhisthira Maharaj was joking. Oh, your devotees are like poor beggars. He said, no, they don't want anything, so they're just not attached. It's like I try to give them and they give it up. I try to give them, they give it up. It was a beautiful story. There was one lady and her husband, sages, in the forest. And they were very poor. Why? Because they didn't need anything and want anything. They lived in the forest, they did their prayers, they did their meditation. And every day they would collect some wood or collect something and go sell it in the marketplace, just enough to get a little food to eat. And so Narad Muni, a great sage, who would travel throughout the universe, went to Krishna and said, oh Krishna, your devotees, they're just, it's like why are they poor? Krishna said, I try to give them things and they're not interested. Why? They just love me, and whatever I try to give them, they just leave it there. So he said, oh, let's test them. Let's see. I want to see for myself. So they went to this world where there was a sage and his wife living in the woods. And they were walking on the trail to go to the market, to go and sell some fruit or this or that, to bring back something to survive for that day or two. And Narad Muni and Krishna went ahead. And he said, oh, let me ask something from Goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. So he took some jewelry, some gold, some diamonds, beautiful things. And he put it on the pathway. And they just kind of, you imagine, you're walking on the pathway, and then they hid behind a tree. Like this tree, Narad and Krishna hiding behind the tree. Let's see. They came around the corner, they're walking along the pathway. The husband was a few 10 feet ahead or something. The wife was 10, 15 feet. They're just walking along very happily, singing peacefully. As the husband got ahead, the wife was kind of slowing down a little behind. And he saw this pile. And he began to very carefully, quickly cover it with some dust on the path. Oh, cover it. And then he kept walking. And as the wife caught up, she said, oh, husband, why are you covering dust with dust? Why are you covering dust with dust? Whatever is meant to come for us in life will come. The Bhagavatam, it says, you should see the wealth of another as like dust. It's not yours. Whatever is meant to come for you will come to you, but be detached. She said, oh husband, we have Krishna, who is the abode of all opulence, beauty, love, joy in our life. Why should we take these little things and go away from him? So Krishna said, look, I'm trying to give and they don't want. They have love for me, they're with me. What do you need? Whatever is meant to come will come. So be satisfied. But sometimes Yudhisthira says, oh, yes, to show your glory, I'll have a kingdom, no problem. But whatever comes is his, not ours. We are not proprietors. We are not proprietors of this world. We are servants. We can act as stewards, as guardians, as caretakers, as gardeners. But is it our garden? It's his garden. Brinda Devi, it's Brinda Devi's garden, it's Radharani's garden, this is their place. So therefore even this ashram, this is a place that we're here to serve. It's a place that we're here to adore, to love, to cherish, to hold, to protect, to nurture, not to possess and acquire and control. As soon as we try to control and acquire, it slips through our fingers. Why? Because the love dissipates. Right? Oh, it's mine, I want to control, I want to enjoy. The harder you try to hold on, the faster it slips away. Therefore, what is there to attain? What is there to become? Simply love. Simply be, right? Like the bees in the garden collecting nectar and bringing it back to their queen and making honey. What is their aspiration in life? They're happy, right? That's why they're always singing. So there's nothing to become, simply be, simply develop your love. And Radharani says this is a natural process. When that calling starts from within, when you realize I've lived long enough in this world without that relationship with God. I've lived long enough without that real relationship. Now let me develop that. Oh Lord, please reveal yourself to me. Then, Guru Krishna Prasade Bhai, by the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna, that seed of devotion begins to germinate, to sprout, to develop. What is that seed of devotion? The desire, the tendency, the impetus to, I love you, let me serve you. That's why our mission is to serve love. As soon as you realize, oh, you love someone, what do you want to do? I want to serve you. Because it's the natural expression of love. Like the bee is collecting nectar and bringing it back to the hive and making honey. The bee doesn't collect it for himself, he collects it for everyone. So therefore we say, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Develop a spirit of world family. This is our peace, solution to peace. If we can truly develop love for God, understanding of ourself, our true nature, then we can see all beings as part and parcel of the absolute truth, His eternal beloveds and servants, and then we can honor all, even an ant. There's a story of a disciple of Narad Muni. Before he was a hunter and he was herding and this and that, but after he became a disciple, later on Narad Muni came and met him, and he was walking and there were ants on the pathway. And he was very gently, very carefully, oh ant, please move aside, I need to walk here. Why? God is residing within the heart of the ant also. The soul and the super soul residing together. Why should I harm them? So Jive Saman Dibe, honor all living entities. So our motto here in our ashram is to always act with love and kindness, to understand true kindness. When we are communicating with someone, in any interaction, there can be strength, so our other word is courage, to live courageously. Why? If you want to achieve the goal of life, that pure relationship, you must be courageous. Right? You must be strong. Remember, as we were saying, Kalindi, don't retreat, only go forward. In spiritual life, we never retreat. Now you've come this far, that means you never give up an inch. Right? Because you have that love. And that love is very powerful. Radharani says, Krishna, love is like a lion. Therefore, we're courageous. We serve with a mood of courage, but with kindness. In every action, how can we meditate on treating people with kindness? That is our mantra. If someone is doing something incorrectly, how can you correct? With kindness. How can you teach with kindness, right? Imagine that all the schools and the children and the kids do something bad. Hey! No. How can you show with love and correct with love? So this is our meditation here. Radharani says love is like a lion, but the active point here is love. The verb here is love. Right? Then its nature is like a lion. So Radharani says love is like a lion. And she says any obstacle in its path, right? This is theism, true theism. True knowledge and understanding of God means to love God. That is true theism, true spiritual life, to love. That's what all the scriptures say. What did Christ say? Love God, thy God with all thy heart. And then he said, love thy fellow man. So that is the real religion. So that is our process. So Radharani says nothing can stand in the face of that. That will achieve its final success. That is liberation. The highest, purest, most essential form of real liberation, achieving that true spirit of love. Therefore, in this life even, that is possible. Therefore, Mahaprabhu said in the 4th verse, life after life, may I simply have love for you. Life after life, may I simply have love for you. That is our ultimate destination. And that is our present. As soon as we want to realize that, that is our present as well. Why? Is anything holding you back from loving God? No. Nothing is holding you back. That's your nature. So all we are doing is realizing, that's why we say consciousness is blossoming. In our philosophy, the soul is in blossoming states of consciousness from like a little leaf, blade of grass. This is also spiritual. But what's the difference between this and ourselves? We're blossoming. So blossoming of consciousness. What's the difference between the present state and the blossom state? Nothing. It's just an evolution. Meaning the ingredients are within the seed. So when the flower blooms, let the flower bloom. So it's a natural process. It's a natural process. It's not a forced process, but it's a process. That's why we say when the seed is planted, every day you water the seed. So chanting of the name is watering the seed of love until it becomes, you can imagine you're strengthening the lion of love, letting that love become more and more powerful. So you water it and you give it a good environment, atmosphere, association, everything becomes auspicious. When you water the seed, what do? You plant it, you give it good sunlight, good air, fertile soil, but the seed is the seed. So you don't have to worry about becoming anything. Just be who you are, but be planted in that holy soil. And let yourself be watered. And let the breeze blow on you, and let the sunlight warm you. Let the water nourish your thirst. And let yourself blossom. That's it. Don't worry about becoming anything. Just be planted in that holy soil and water that seed. And water that seed. And water that seed. There's nothing to do beyond that. That's the reason for the mantra. Why? Krishna is calling us. Now we're also going to call him. That's why we sing. Why? Because God doesn't force himself on anyone. So he says, I'm ready for you anytime. But I'll know that you want me when you call to me. So we're calling, oh Krishna, oh ocean of mercy, please let me enter into your eternal loving relationship. So we'll go witness this drama play of the birth of Sri Krishna, and let us be happy and joyful and act with kindness, courage, and wisdom. Spiritual wisdom. These are three, right, cornerstone missionary, this is our identity. To act with courage in spiritual life. Why? Because it's necessary, because fear will come. People will say, oh, why are you doing this? This is wrong. Act with courage, because we are strong. Be strong within your heart. Why? Because love gives you real strength. The most powerful force, love. Shri Radha means love. That's the meaning of her name. That's why we worship Shri Radha and Krishna. The power of love. The power of God is love. That is Shri Radha. So be courageous and have that love and be kind. And the process, understand that wisdom. The nature of the soul, God, the nature of this world, the nature of the body, that I'm not this body. All this knowledge should become digested or assimilated or realized. That's wisdom. What's the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Realization. It's like food and digested food. Imagine you eat, but you can't digest anything, then you die. So that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. I know this, but have you digested it? Have you assimilated it? Have you realized it? So let us assimilate this wisdom by praying and by openness and surrender. Opening the heart, that means to surrender. When we do our Jai Dwani, it's called Jai. You know what Jai means? Jai means victory. So whenever we do this, we do it 5-6 times a day. Jai to all these personalities. Jai. Why? Victory. Victory to who? To us. But how do we achieve that victory? We open the door of the heart and we say, come within. That is victory. So Jai. Then we'll always be victorious. So, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Let's go watch the drama.